Hey guys, so today I'm going to give a tour on my favorite spawn in Fortnite, the Dusty Diner. This video also starts a series I plan on making called Learning the Landing, where I essentially just explain everything I think is important for mastering a drop spot. Since the Dusty Diner and the Dusty Divot are kinda interconnected, this is probably going to be a part 1 of 2, in which I focus mainly on how to win your fights here, versus part 2 where I'll focus on how to push in and for scrim players like rotations and whatnot. So the first thing is you want to make sure that when you glide in you see where your opponents land, because since this spot is so small with all the loot being so congested, you can generally see where your opponents are going to go and predict how they're going to move based on the item spawns and chest spawns around. So if you just want like a safe spot though, I'd recommend landing on top of this broken diner crack and then just jumping in, looking around, getting the pallets for materials, chest if you can, or whatever else. The good thing about landing here is your fights are going to be pretty quick if they do happen, since if you land here and someone else comes, there's no cover or anything much blocking like your line of sight versus inside the main diner where you can easily crouch behind columns or under the half walls or whatever. So this is pretty good because usually you can get this spot by yourself and they'll be fighting over there. And then when you want to leave, I recommend leaving through this way so you have high ground and you don't get jumped by someone maybe inside over there, or someone you don't see essentially. And then if you're looking through here, you usually get like the red X if you're trying to shoot through it and like it's not like a straight angle essentially. So what I'd recommend instead is just to like peek in through the sides, like with third person peek I mean. And then what you can do is these slots are pretty big and you can shoot through them. So if you want to, you could go like through here and get some angles, like if they're in the general area, or just shoot through this because this is a few shots. They generally won't expect it, and then you have a couple seconds of free DPS. This is also where I'd land if I don't land here, because this is only 2 hits, and then once you're in here you can jump. Here, I'll show. Like I would break this because this is the fastest and like it's a secure way of getting loot, I say, because you can do this, check loot spawns like while you're in motion, and then maybe you'll get this chest spawn. If you look really far, you can actually see if that chest spawn is also there, or you can see if you want any of these items. And then if if none of these work, then it's actually kind of unfortunate because that's a lot of ideal spawns, but otherwise just sprint to the kitchen because the kitchen generally has some loot and like some mats, which you can get like maybe like 5 or 6 builds up here, which doesn't sound like too much, but since there's a lot of natural cover already, you generally don't need too much. So those are like the 2 spots to drop in, I'd say, if you like never come here. But what you could also do is a lot of the floor loot spawns are on the outside over here as well. So if you want to get like a gun, like let's say this pump, then you're generally going to be racing other people who also landed here, or you could box someone out if they landed in the parking lot, because the parking lot's pretty bad unless you land on like a really good AR and some shields or something. But if you come through here and you can make this jump, then you have a lot more options for loot spawns. This jump can also be made over on these, so that you don't have to make the sound of opening the door, It's worth learning if you plan to come here a lot, but ultimately up to you guys. If you absolutely mess up your drop, I'd recommend landing on the top of that and just falling down. And then if the kitchen door isn't open, then it's probably unlooted. So I would go here and or no, first you should check this one, because this has one late spawn. And then just go through here, because the thing is, this is a pretty secure area to defend, because to get through into the kitchen, like from the side, you have to break like, or you have to do more hits than most people are willing to do. So generally it's pretty easy to just turtle up in here and like farm the mats and just, you know, block your entrances. Like this is a pretty good one, so that you only have to worry there, and then you can just right hand peek or something, you know. Otherwise though, if you see that this door is open and you and you dropped late, then your only option is to go for this chest spot, and then like I think there's 1 or 2 loot spawns here, but I mean you're pretty much out of options at that point. You just gotta hope that you get lucky somewhere. Alright, so then yeah, in pub matches, kitchen is super strong because people don't really think too outside the box. They just kind of try to like open the doors and such. But it's not the best spot in the higher divisions because there's only one floor on top of you. And generally, when people camp in here, you should just open this because like they really have no idea. Like I don't know why. As for the predictable paths I was saying earlier, it's pretty much the equivalent of what I was saying, but let's say someone lands here and they try to get all these spawns and whatnot. If you land there and jump, then you're gonna get the loot faster because you don't need to walk through all that, and you don't need to land on the balcony and then jump off to go down anyway, which does take like a couple seconds. Either way though, it's better to be high ground than like if there's a lot of people on the main floor. Alright, so one other suggestion I would have is if you're like really in dire straits, you can use this edit, because this edit is decent for blocking off like, or for having your back towards walls essentially, because sometimes you can get really good people who peek through these and like, or really it's more on you to not be standing directly in their line of sight, because if you're looking at someone shooting through the window, you have a better angle because nothing is directly in front of you to cause like the red X right there, but up there you only can't aim forward, so just aim like sideways. But that's also just a good edit just to like watch the whole diner. Alright, and then so some miscellaneous tips that I've learned. So if someone's camping under here, sometimes it can be annoying, like especially if they, you know, put walls like here and are just turbo building, but I mean it's Fortnite, so you can really just like break out this wall, you know, and like do your thing. Ooh, something really fun about this spot that I quite enjoy is that there's like a secret place called Big. Here, I'll show you. Which is just a giant spot that no one really goes or knows about, honestly. So, I don't know. If you're playing for... If you have a lot of time though and you want to go there, then this is also a method of getting there. Kind of more of a process, but I don't know, I just think it's really cool because there's some potential to be had with this. Like what I've done in the past is like if you can break out through this and then like come through here, then you can like see your opponents before without them realizing that you're here essentially, you know. And then, because if someone's camping here, they can't build walls on these sides, which is something you also need to keep in mind of. But let's say like there's 2 people, let's say you're on this edge, and someone landed over there, and they're rushing you, then just like sit on this corner or sit on this slant, because if someone's rushing you, and you're crouched there, they can't see you at all, but you can really just crouch here. You could even relocate, like pop up somewhere they don't know, you know, just shoot them real quick. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope, that's pretty much it. I showed you guys how to, or doing the jumps for like maximizing your loot, which is pretty important because not everyone, or most people can't, honestly. Oh, there's one thing. So, side, if you do meet someone who's turtled up in here, you can enter through like this essentially, whereas with this, I mean, you can do the same, but I don't know. Not everyone thinks about this if they're trying to hide here, but this is an easy way to get in and start like pressuring their walls. Yep, so I guess that's it. Thanks for watching the video.